such good shit!
Hey, Mark Rodriguez here. You're watching the Diving Cutter podcast as we got a big event to discuss, the big pay-per-view here, and with me is...
Jack Knives from Jack Knives Reviews.
And this time it'll just be us two for a bit, but hopefully more people are going to be jumping in. And before we get into the big event here, which Jack will probably give more details on the importance and the prestige of such an event, let's go into some of the news, some of the things here. Just real quick, minor things that aren't like, we're not going to, like, we talked about them enough already. We're not going to go over and over and over. But it's still not 100% confirmed, I don't think, if Sasha Banks has been released or not. Because it's like, she's released, no, she's not released. And this company says so, but other people are saying, well, yeah, but how reputable is that company? So it's not sure. But it is noticeable that they haven't mentioned anything at all about Naomi. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess you could say Sasha brought her along for the ride, whatever. But Naomi, there aren't any talks about her in terms of whether or not she's employed. They're both removed off the website, though. They're both, their merch is gone. And, like, on the page where you see, like, the list of all the champs and stuff, it now says vacated. The women tag team titles are currently vacated, I guess, until further notice, or they figure out what the fuck to do or whatever. If it was AEW, it would have been a tournament by now for that. I'll say that as an AEW fan. There would have been a tag team women's interim tournament match right now if it was them. But yeah.
Hey guys.
Hey Johnny.
Am I late?
Yeah, we're still getting people here. We're just mentioning that you know, it's not confirmed yet if Sasha's fired or not, but there's nothing about Naomi.
So what's the podcast about?
Is the AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door.
Oh, that pay-per-view.
Another quick thing I was going to say is no news in MJF so far. I mean, he's off the website and whatever. He's on the roster. There's no news. There were rumors a couple of weeks ago after the promo that the people that run the station or whatever didn't want any more promos from MJF. But, I mean, no news there. And also, apparently Paige, I'm not 100% sure if she's 100% done with WWE or she's on her way out of WWE.
She did confirm her contract is over. They didn't want to re-sign her, so she's officially done with WWE.
Now, you did mention, or someone mentioned last time, that Paige was actually clear to wrestle if she wanted to, right? It was just WWE holding her back?
She just has a little bit of a medical checkup, and she did say in her basically like farewell to WWE message something along the lines of implying that she will come back to wrestle. So she eventually will. So I'm not too sure when, but you know, it seems interesting that she's gonna basically be saying goodbye to WWE, but she's also gonna be like, well, I'll eventually wrestle. This isn't a goodbye. This is a see you sometime in the future, or something along those lines. So it's like basically her saying goodbye without saying goodbye.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about the Sasha Banks thing is, from what I've gathered, WWE isn't sure if they want to keep her on the roster, from what I've gathered. So that's why they haven't really done anything with the titles. They know that she's off TV completely. You know, they got rid of her on the intro, which is never a good sign. And as far as the MJF thing, I believe, honestly, it's just a really hard work. Because it feels as though... they did an interview recently. There was an interview recently with the former talent relations person for Major League Wrestling, which is what MJF started in, and like when he came up with the character of Maxwell Jacob Freeman, and he basically said he had done something sort of similar, where he basically felt like, oh, I'm worth more to the company, da da da. But he said when he did it then, he didn't like just, oh, I'm not going to show up. He basically, you know, wanted to come into the office. He was very professional about it. He sat down with us and he said, hey, look, this is my negotiation. This is what I want to do. I want to be paid X amount of money. And we said, okay, well, we're going to reschedule a time to meet up with you, which we did. And we followed up and we did give him more money. and he was very professional back then. So I don't understand what happened from there to now to change him to be more I'm owed. So I don't know. It seems like a work. It really does seem like a work with the whole MJF thing. I think it's just like it's considered what's called a hard work, where it's kind of like with only a very small group of people are in on it. So I think only like maybe MJF, Khan, and maybe one other person is in on it. I think it's just such a, they're trying to build up as much hype around of like what's going on, to the point where it's gonna eventually, and the reason I say that is because apparently after he did the pipe bomb, or whatever the hell he calls it, Punk came out but he was limping, and so it was like he came out and then Matt Jackson came out, which I'm like, okay. So once I found that out, once I saw the clip of that, I'm like, okay, this is a work. Like, it's obviously a work. So that's just my mindset, but I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but with Sasha, I think it's more of just the company isn't really sure what to do with her. I don't think anything's going to happen to Naomi in the long run, mostly because she's protected by the whole, Uso Roman Reigns thing, that she's protected by marriage kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think anything's going to necessarily happen to Naomi. Plus, from reports, it seems like Naomi was just kind of like there, but she just kind of followed Sasha. Like, she didn't really do anything. But I don't know. I really don't know. I think most of it's just kind of up in the air.
Yeah, because it feels like it's kind of like the Marshall Brady thing. Everyone's talking about Sasha, Sasha, Sasha. No one's really talking about Naomi or what her fate is or whatever. It's just,
Now, if they do bring back Naomi, what I think they should do, make her a heel. Like a full-on heel. Like dive into it. Don't pussyfoot around. Just go straight into it. If they did that. But that's just me. I think that's what they should do.
So another news before we get into the long list of injuries here that's going to even affect the event we're going to be discussing today. I noticed in Pro Wrestling Tees that Flip Gordon is, like, his merch is leaving, which is kind of weird because usually that only happens when, like, they're leaving to WWE, since of course WWE is kind of like, we own you and everything and stuff like that, So whenever, like, oh, yeah, Cody, for example. Well, Cody's merchandise, I'm surprised. I guess he's such a big name, he controls that. But most of the time, whenever someone goes to WWE, their merch is... Oh, well, there you go. Cora Jade's a good example. All of Elena Black's merchandise is gone once you went to WWE. And Priscilla Kelly, for example, her merch on her own store is now gone because now she's like WWE. So with Flip Gordon, I'm just wondering, is he like going to be in NXT or something, or what happened with him, or any news regarding him or something?
As far as I know, I don't really, honestly, it's been kind of, well, he was contracted to Ring of Honor, but now the Ring of Honor, they severed everyone's contracts. It basically made them free agents, but it seems like Flip is pretty much done with both the indie circuit and with AEW. He's not going to work with AEW, which is stupid because I think he should. Because he's already had.
He was in AEW?
No, he's never been in AEW. He's just friends with the Bucks, and he's been friends with the Bucks, and he was on BTE. That's why for so long. But the problem is like, it's not that he's untalented. It's just that the problem is he doesn't have enough. Whether it's in-ring, mic work, or just the it factor, he doesn't have enough to just get to that next level of, like, even upper mid-card. Like, he's always lower mid-card, as much as that, as messed up as that sounds. He just doesn't have he doesn't have enough to build up to where someone would like, oh, I definitely want to get him. But it seems like he might be going to WWE more than likely because they're removing his stuff. So it's either he's moving to WWE or he's just done with wrestling. One of the two. More than likely it's WWE because he's, still young. He's still on the fairly young side. So that's all I can speculate on this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, WWE is like the only site that's really, or company that's really like that. You know, literally any other, because Pro Wrestling Tees got stuff from like Game Changer Wrestling and Women of Wrestling and Lucha Underground. They got everything. You know, the WWE is the only one that's kind of like, no, no, no. If you work for us, we own you. Like all your merch, all your stuff is only on our site, baby. You know, so that kind of. And speaking of Vince, of course, Vince has this big thing here. Big allegations against him recently. It sounded like they were doing some bean counting, I guess. They're doing some, what's that word? The accounting word when they're trying to see where all your money goes.
They were funneling money. Yeah.
Yeah. So the big news is that McMahon is stepping down as CEO and leaving the duties to Stephanie McMahon, even though we thought that Stephanie was gone, but okay. And he keeps appearing on TV. I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if maybe it's just like be on TV the most I can before shit hits the fan and I'm out or something. But
I think he's trying to do. At best, he's trying really, really hard to get people on his side, and it's weird. The details have basically come out that what had happened was there was a female employee, so that's important. It says employee who worked for WWE Incorporated. He was having an unwarranted sexual relationship with this woman. And apparently also with John Laurinaitis, she was having it. And basically what had happened was she had basically said, you know, I'm done with this whole thing. You know, I don't want to deal with this anymore. You know, I don't want to do this anymore. And WWE's lawyer, you know, their lawyer they've had for years, he basically under Vince McMahon, wanted to take... He offered money. He offered apparently $3 million to her to keep her mouth shut about the whole situation, because sex scandals immediately shut down like companies' images and whatever. So she declined, and it got back to WWE CEOs and the board of trustees around WWE that what had happened was that Vince was trying to take money out of WWE to pay off this woman. So it wasn't like he was paying his own checks. He was taking money from WWE Incorporated to pay off this woman.
What?
And so that's what it really came down to. It wasn't... That's where he fucked up. That's actually what got him caught, was that they found out he was funneling money from WWE Incorporated to pay off this woman to keep her silent. So basically, yeah, he was skimming off money off the company to keep this woman's mouth shut about the sexual relationship with him. And that's why, and they're saying he decided to step down, which is corporate lingo for the chairman said, you're no longer CEO. We've all done a vote, and we all decided get the fuck out of here. And what's funny is if you notice, that time he came out on Raw, the first time he came out on Raw, it was the first time in his entire, from him being the heel to now, the very first time they've ever announced him as just Mr. McMahon. They've always announced him as the CEO of WWE, Mr. McMahon. But when they announced him this time, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. McMahon. So, and like I said, he said he's saying the whole then, now, forever, and most importantly, together. He's trying to do basically like clean up the bullshit of like getting everyone on his side, because all the WWE marks are going to believe Vince is, you know, sunshine, rainbows, and unicorn farts or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And they believe anything WWE is good and anything not WWE is evil. That's how they've always built it. I mean, fuck, this is the same company. People forget, after the 9/11 attacks happened, it was on a SmackDown that like they had all these people, like they had The Rock, they had Austin, they were talking about how devastating and horrible it was. And then they had Stephanie McMahon come out, and she equated the attacks of 9/11 to her dad being accused of the steroid scandal.
Oh, ay Dios mío. Oh no.
But that's what she did. She said, father was also viciously attacked, so we know how it feels. I'm like, the fuck you do, bitch? And mind you, this was less than 48 hours since the 9/11 attacks happened, so... Yeah.
Now, speaking of Stephanie McMahon, there's no new news on why she's, or...
Well, apparently she was stepping down because of stress. They said stress related. And I think a lot of that had to do with Triple H. And it seems like...
Oh, what happened with Triple H?
He got so demoted that they basically removed his entire... him entirely, pretty much, for the big chunk of it. Well, Nick Khan did, the right-hand man, and Vince, and now he's... there's a lot of stuff going on where, a short version of it is, I honestly believe in the theory that Nick Khan came into this company, because it's been, think about it, it's been 3 years since he signed with the company. So 3 years since Nick Khan became the second in command to Vince. And in that time, they've gotten rid of Kevin Dunn, who is Vince's original right-hand man, John Laurinaitis, Road Dogg, who was in charge of SmackDown, and now Vince, Stephanie, Shane, Triple H, and now Vince. All of the top heads of the company are essentially gone.
So be yourself
And
to
now
do
Nick
a
Khan-
clean house.
Because Nick Khan's ultimate plan that he wants to do is he wants to sell WWE as a collective. So sell WWE as a collective to a big corporation, probably like Apple or something, and then be done with wrestling. So basically, WWE would fold. It would do the same thing that happened with WCW and AOL Time Warner. That's basically what he wants to happen. But Vince has been the one thorn in his side that's prevented that from happening, because he's like, well, it's our family, it's mine, So that's honestly what I think is going to happen, where they just are eventually just going to like pack up house and fold, which I will be happy about because WWE is such a dumpster fire. But I honestly think, but here's some interesting news that just happened. So allegedly, reports are saying that Triple H was now reappointed by the chairman to be in a managerial position in the company, as in like to be an overseer of the company, which if they're going to make Tony Khan or Nick Khan the top guy, then they would make Triple H the second. And I'm like, oh, so if that happens, yeah, they're not going anywhere, but Triple H could change a lot in that company. Like if Triple H is overseeing that company, that could change a lot. So Stephanie right now is the interim CEO, which means she's the one until they make the final decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
in
that's
stranger
kind of-
news, $3 million has been mysteriously put into the accounts of Nia Jax and Dewdrop. We don't know where this came from, but yeah, I'll keep you posted on that.
Hey, don't talk bad about Dewdrop. She's amazing. I love her.
But yeah, it looks like there's like a lot of scandal in the McMahon family, and I'm pretty
Well,
sure her stress
wait.
has to do with Vince McMahon situation as well.
Well, I mean, the fact that Triple H now has to, he can never work.
having a family member, your father or whatever, involved in that kind of scandal.
Plus, Triple H can never wrestle again because he had his heart issues. His heart issues are so severe he had to have open heart surgery, so he can never wrestle again. And I honestly believe it was triggered by the whole situation, behind the scenes with like them taking away NXT and all this other shit. I really do think that's what caused it. It didn't cause it, but it triggered his heart issues. I believe that's what happened. It makes a lot of sense in the timeline of what happened.
Not to mention, if Linda McMahon decides to go back for governor or anything having to do with Senate or state, this is definitely going to mess with her political career, having a husband that did this.
I think her political career is already shit on since she was associated with Trump. But, whatever. Anyway, moving on.
So the other thing we got going on, and Jack has to full list here, is all these injured people. And like I said, a lot of them are affecting what's going on with this actual event we're going to be talking about, which again, if you guys are new to the show, we talk about pay-per-views, we do our comparisons, and then when the actual event happens, we look back and compare who was right, who was wrong, all that good stuff. But, before we get to the injuries, Jeff Hardy got, the DUI, he was drunk and messed up, and AEW's like, we're not going to release you, but we're going to send you to rehab or something, and this is like your last chance, don't fuck it up. You're not allowed back until you're clean, so to speak.
He suffered an extremely hard fall into the back of a police vehicle.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right, so first off, real quick, I just want to say the ones that aren't involved with AEW, just real quick. So there's Cody, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Matt Cardona is so extremely injured, which sucks because he had about 5 different titles, and he had to vacate all of them. So
and who are their top guys for NWA, too?
Yeah, he was the NWA champion. He had to vacate that, and then they had a match between 4 other competitors who was the top 4, and it ended up being Trevor Murdoch won it again, so that's good. Anyway, now on to the actual ones that are going to affect this pay-per-view. So obviously CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, they are both injured, confirmed. Juice Robinson was injured prior, or he had to have his appendicitis, so he's pretty much had to vacate the IWGP US title, who is now owned by Will Ospreay. Let's see. There is also Red Dragon, which was just announced. So both Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are both injured.
What the fuck?
So
How?
they will not be attending the show as per scheduled. Scorpio Sky is currently injured.
Well, what?
Yeah, Scorpio Sky is currently injured. That's why he has not been wrestling, but he's been on TV on the sidelines. I don't really know the severity of his injury. Tomohiro Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, who was supposed to fight in the All-Atlantic 4-way match between Pac, Malachi Black, Pac, Miro, and him, is now being replaced by the person who he ended up fighting to compete for this match, Clark Connors. So Clark Connors, who is a great choice. This is his first title opportunity, but it comes in the back of, unfortunately, Ishii being injured. And finally, the one who is injured, however, is still going to compete at Forbidden Door, Adam Cole. I don't know the severity of his injury. I don't really know. I believe it has something to do with his leg, and allegedly it took place around Double or Nothing during the finals against Samoa Joe. I believe it had something to do with his leg or something. So we're going to see how that plays into the factor of Forbidden Door. So those are the injuries as of right now. That is the up-to-date list of who is currently injured.
Oh my goodness. And yeah, and as we go down the list here, we'll see exactly how these matches are all changed around and everything, including a mystery thing, because we don't even know who the opponent's going to be for who was it now? For, oh god, I can't think right now.
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, thank you. For Zack Sabre Jr. So we'll see what's going on, but we'll get there when we get there. So let's start with the event real quick. And apparently, if anyone's watching, well, actually, we're early. We're so early right now. Rampage isn't even on yet. But yeah, Rampage is going to be announcing more buy-in matches, so we'll see what goes there. So obviously, we can't predict those, But let's see here. So one match we got here is 8-man tag team, which is Matt Caster and the Gun Club, Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn versus Yuya Uemura, Alex Coughlin, and the DKC and Kevin Knight. I'm gonna sound stupid, but the DKC is a guy named DKC, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
he just goes by the DKC. Yeah.
Okay, so this one I don't, because I don't really care much for Mac Caster and the Gun Club and all this stuff. I mean, I'll just give it to the team of Yuya and the rest because I don't know these guys, but yeah, I mean, I would not be upset to see Matt Caster and all his idiots go down, so I'll go for that other team. But you might have more complex reasons.
Well, okay, first off, Yuya Uemura and Alex Coughlin. All of these guys are either currently Young Lions, which is the rookie program of New Japan, or graduate Young Lions, which is a huge detriment because basically you have to go through a series of physical, like, hell to become a graduate Young Lion. So, like, an example of who's a former Young Lion, Finn Balor. Let's see, Finn Balor, Okada, Jay White, Naito. So basically, like, a list of greats who have been. Jushin Thunder Liger, he was a Young Lion. So these are people that are, like, it's a really rigorous program that you have to go through to become basically the stamp of approval from New Japan to go through, like, the boot camp of New Japan. With that being said, Yuya Uemura is very, very talented. I'm not too sure if he will actually be able to step up in this match. But the wild card in this match is actually Alex Coughlin. Alex Coughlin is he has graduated the Young Lions program. He is freaking great. Like, this guy is legitimately one of those people who, there's a couple people that are graduated the Young Lion program that I can look at and go, this guy's going to be a megastar one day. Coughlin is definitely one of those. He kind of wrestles like a younger William Regal, but he's got the body of kind of almost like a smaller Moxley. Like, kind of buff, but like small, kind of petite kind of thing. Yeah. So he's really talented. He's more of a striker, a very good technical wrestler. He's got a lot of adaptability in his game. DKC, he's pretty good on average, and Kevin Knight is more of a high flyer. And obviously Max Caster and the Gun Club, you already know about them. As much as I would love it to see the the New Japan guys, I think, just because they're popular, I think that Gun Club is probably going to win, just based off of the fact that they're popular. I think just Max Caster's probably going to cheat or something like that, some shenanigans. So for that one, I'm going to just off of that, I'm going to go with Max Caster and the Gun Club.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with him. As much as I would love to see Yuya and his squad get the win, because of the popularity of the Gun Club and Max, they're going to end up being the winners. But I mean, this would be an okay place for Yuya to shine, especially, since he's still, technically a Black Lion, hasn't graduated yet. This would be kind of a deal that could put him on the map, but unfortunately, it's going to come down to popularity. So Max and the Gun Club are going to be the winners.
But don't make no mistake. One day Yuya will be an Omega star, because Yuya. Quick fun fact about Yuya Uemura: he did graduate the Japanese dojo of New Japan. He's actually decided to extend to go to the LA dojo of the New Japan. So he's already graduated and been trained by Jushin Thunder Liger. Now he's going to the LA dojo, where he's going to be trained by Katsuyori Shibata. So if he graduates those both, he will be a part of an extremely exclusive club who have graduated both programs.
Yeah, for this match, I think we were all pretty much agreeing that more based on the popularity, I think it's going to be Max Caster and the Gun Club. Like, I think they're the ones that are going to win the match. I really don't know any of the wrestlers they're going to be fighting. But according to what you guys have said, they sound like they're still like they're brand new to the game, but they're still, very talented wrestlers. So hopefully down the line, the New Japan, wrestlers will be able to shine, and actually win matches.
Well, I think most of them have been around for a good while. This is just kind of like their introduction, at least for the American viewers. It's like that meme, that Bart Simpson's meme I posted where it's like, say the lines. It's like, who the hell is this guy? As a WWE guy that's not going to know any of these people, But yeah, so it looks like we're all going for the Gun Club. I still want Yuya to win, because they gotta win sometime. It can't be like, we can't have like a clean sweep of AEW beating all these guys.
It would be good if they win the match, because that would be a good surprise. But let's see what actually happens in the match. I don't.
I always have to and I know it's kind of like the heel thing, and to get you like annoyed, like, oh my god, here he comes again or whatever. But oh god, every time the theme song starts and he's so like, hey. Listen! And like, oh fuck, shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? It's so fucking annoying.
It's weird am I the only one that finds it weird? Like, at first it was kind of funny, but am I the only one that finds it really weird with the whole, doing the finger scissors? The fact that kids are doing it, am I the only one that finds that really disturbing? Or am I saying the minority?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
I don't know. I guess we all have. I mean, back in the day, the bushwhackers would fucking lick kids and people and whatever in the face. So nowadays we got people scissoring. Like, I don't know.
I mean, in our generation, people used to do the suck it thing, and we didn't know what it meant. But it's like, this is a little bit different, because it's like it's a little more sexual. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, and then they got to do it with all their tag team partners and stuff. So I don't know. It's like everyone. I don't know. That's a weird one.
Next is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship 4-way match. The Switchblade Jay White, the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, Hangman Adam Page, and Adam Cole. How this came about was basically Jay White came out, which everyone knew Jay White was going to show up, but a lot of people didn't know that he had defeated Kazuchika Okada to become the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. Adam Cole presumed, since the Elite and the Bullet Club are working together, wink wink, that he would be in line next to get a title shot. But Jay said that he was not going to give a title shot to him, and he wasn't going to give a title shot to Adam Page. And so it kind of just became a tease for Jay White to just kind of screw with them. Then he ended up attacking, in this past Dynamite, attacking Adam Page with the help of Adam Cole. And suddenly the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada shows up, literally kicking into the Forbidden Door, which it was the first time Okada has been on American television for a wrestling promotion. It is insane, because like literally the whole crowd went insane. JR literally called it. He said, the greatest wrestler of this generation. And he's not wrong, because he's got the receipts to prove it. But what makes this match so interesting is this is the first time ever that the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship is defended in a Fatal 4-Way. So I don't know how much that's going to play a factor, because Switchblade is the newly crowned champion, and having beaten Okada clean and being the first person to be the ultimate Grand Slam champion, winning the IWGP US, Intercontinental, Never Openweight, US, and now World Heavyweight Championship. He's done every record he's ever set his sights on. He is the first person to ever get a 4-1 victory over Okada, which is something Kenny Omega can never do, because everyone wants to say, oh, Kenny and Okada, Kenny and Okada. Kenny fought Okada 4 times and lost 3 times. He only beat him once. So, people want to say, oh, Kenny's better than Jay. I'm like, is he though? But I digress. My thing of it is I have a theory of what I think is going to happen. And I personally believe that it's going to be Jay White retaining by somehow Adam Cole losing. Like, Adam Cole's going to get knocked out or whatever. He's going to go after Adam Cole, or he's going to go after Hangman. Because he'd be stupid to try to go after Okada. But Paige is dumb enough to... but Hangman is just dumb enough to go after Okada because he wants to fight Okada. So, I think Jay's going to win. And then... Because remember, they keep booking this as one night only with the Bullet Club. Where the Young Bucks are in the Bullet Club gear... because they're already trying to sell their merch on Pro Wrestling Tees. They're going to come out, they're all going to celebrate, and then Jay is going to kick out permanently the Bullet Club and Adam Cole, permanently out of the Bullet Club, and stab them both in the back. And then I think what's going to end the show is probably going to have Kenny coming out and confronting Jay. And that's going to build into something else. That's what I think is going to happen, and that's what I hope is going to happen. So for me... I'm going to pick the Switchblade for the win.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go with the Switchblade too, because I'm not sure how the other companies are, but if he just won the title, like, to have him lose it so quickly, and I didn't know Okada was the same guy he beat to get the title, so it's kind of like he just got the title off him and to drop it to him again, and for some reason, I don't know. I mean, they're cool and stuff, but I kind of see Adam Page and Adam Cole kind of like, they're just there and all that. Like, I wouldn't mind just seeing White versus Okada, and that's it. But obviously, you need some of the AEW guys in there. I just don't really care much for either Page or Cole winning the match. And like I said many times before, I just never got much into Cole anyway, so, But, yeah, I guess, I don't know, like, it kind of makes sense for White to win the title. Like I said, I didn't know that Okada was the same guy he beat. If Okada was like another challenger that was not the guy he beat, I would have gone for Okada. But I don't see them, at least hopefully not New Japan Pro, like doing the whole hot potato with the belts between the same guys that just won it and lost it. So yeah, I'm gonna go for Jay White still retaining. And yeah, it might cause some issues, like you said. It might be something that maybe Cole accidentally does that might cost White the match. So that'd be kind of interesting. See how that goes. See if there's a little friction between the Elite / Bullet Club or whatever. So we'll see how that goes. That's kind of right there. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Switchblade on this one.
Yeah, I got Jay White on this one. And the way I think it's going to play out, now, as we said before, Adam Cole does have a bit of a leg injury. I think that's going to be pronounced. He's going to be hanging on the outside, faking his injury for a while. And... it's going to be Jay White pinning Hangman Page, but only due to the fact that Okada probably hits him with the Rainmaker, and then Jay White just takes and hits Okada from behind, takes advantage, and makes a pin. But, yeah, I do have a feeling that there's going to be some silliness as far as the Bullet Club celebration at the very end. But, yeah, Jay White for the win.
I agree. I think Jay White should win this match, and this match is also going to be weird in a way because there's going to definitely be a lot of friction between Adam Page versus Adam Cole. You know how they are, and then I don't know. So it's going to be a spectacular match. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be like those matches that all these extra people, I'm just going to say it like that, they're just going to kind of get it in the way. Like, they're going to be like their worst enemy in that instance,
Okay, so the next match we got here is another four-way match, because, hey, right, this is for the inaugural, this is pronounce it, AEW All-Atlantic Championship, which I guess is AEW's version of the Intercontinental title, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, this match here is going to be between Pac, between Miro, that will satisfy his wife, versus Malachi Black, and versus Clark Connors. Now, in this case, I'm going to go just personal favoritism. In Clark Connors' case, I don't know if he's like another, it sounds like another New Japan Pro Wrestling guest star, and if he is, then I don't really see him winning, because then he's going to, unless he's all elite, I don't know. Malachi Black's pretty cool. Miro just had the TNT reign and everything, but like I said, personal favoritism. I want Pac to win it because he's awesome and he's been there like since the beginning. He's actually been one of the first guys from the beginning of AEW and everything. He's done the work. It's cool to like the Lucha Bros have already had the belts in tag team style. Now it'll be cool that whenever the Triángulo de la Muerte come out, Pac's got a title on him and everything. And you know how it is. You could always drop it later on to Black or something. They could kind of continue their feud from there because now the feud will be more into like the title. So that could kind of expand on that. Now Malachi Black is now targeting Black because he... Oh God, I can't talk tonight. Malachi Black would be targeting Pac now because he wants a title and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with Pac in this one.
I don't know. I definitely feel like Pac could win this one if, as long as Malachi doesn't do anything too slick. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup, especially with Connor's in it. I don't know. This is kind of a toughie, but I'm gonna go with Pac on this.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking about like originally. I'm like thinking, okay, I'm like looking from a broad perspective of this whole match, and the only two people I could see winning just because of the fact that neither of them have had championships in this company. Is Pac and Malachi. I mean, Connors hasn't had one either, but you know, I think Pac should win. I think it should be Pac, but to be the devil's advocate because everyone else is picking Pac, I'm gonna just stick with Malachi Black. I'm gonna pick Malachi Black for the win.
Knives, why you do this?
Well, there's got to be some variety here and there, you know. But altogether, though, I will say, I honestly think this match is just going to be a strike fest. I mean, you got Miro, Black, Malachi, and Connors. It's just going to be hit after hit after hit. So it's going to be a slugfest. So I'm going to be excited regardless of who. Honestly, legitimately, I would be fine with any of the people winning in this match. But gun to head, I'm going to pick Malachi Black.
Yeah, this is going to be quite a match. These are all like powerhouse type wrestlers. They're going to really get into it, and but I don't know. I think both these wrestlers are good though. But I think I don't know. Just let's see what happens. You know, Pac can win this match. Just add some variety into it.
Wait, so who are you going for, Johnny?
Oh, like I said, I'm going for Pac.
Somewhere out there, Lana shedding a tear because she will not be satisfied because her husband will not be the All-Atlantic champion.
I mean, honestly, the only reason I was thinking about Miro, but I'm also like, you know, when he was the TNT champion, it was kind of a wet fart. So I'm like, eh.
I don't know. I like the promos though, and all the whole satisfied wife junk. It was just funny. So the next match we got here is a 6-man tag team match, and with Les Sex Gods are reunited because recently Sammy Guevara proven that he is back with Chris Jericho, and I guess Ty's just there. So it's going to be Jericho, Sammy Guevara, and Minoru Suzuki, which people call the Murder Grandpa, versus Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, because we want to see him get thrown around by big men, and Shota Umino. And oh god, this is a good match though. But oh god, because Sammy Guevara, love him or hate him, he is incredibly talented. Fast paced. He's the high flyer and everything. And we've already seen Minoru Suzuki do his thing. He's a very threatening individual, someone you probably don't want to trade chops with, But Eddie Kingston. And then Wheeler Yuta with his stuff. And we got Shota there too. Like, I don't know, man. I think, I don't know. With all these matches, I do want to see Eddie Kingston win, though. I want to see Kingston and his team win. But it's a tough one. I don't know. Because I'm also thinking, because the last pay-per-view they had, Eddie Kingston actually beat Jericho, didn't he? The whole shake his hand. He didn't want to shake his hand kind of thing. Or whatever. No, actually, the pay-per-view after that was like what Johnny said, that, what they call Jericho Appreciation Society won that one, so it might be time for Kingston to win. Damn, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go with Eddie Kingston and his crew But yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a match, man. It's just like the guys involved, you know, and like I said, Sammy's skilled. I didn't know Minoru was gonna be on Jericho's side. Like, holy shit, you know. But it's gonna be crazy, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go for you know, Eddie Kingston's crew.
Oh, update on that. Sammy Guevara is actually out on an injury due to a slip and fall on a ball of hair gel.
Oh, fuck you, man. I thought you were serious. I thought you were serious.
I was like, damn it, again?
I thought he broke a hip with Ty Conti or something. Like,
Gotcha.
oh, man. But, you know, that's the thing, though. We're getting so many injuries right now that it would not be surprised that during this podcast, as we're filming, like, or recording or whatever, so-and-so got injured. Sorry, guys. I guess Jay White won't be in the match after all. You know? Like, jeez.
Jay White would never get injured. He's never going to get injured. Ever.
Hey, let's not jinx it, because now it's going to be... let's not...
Come on, Jack. Don't do that. It's hard to call the show the Forbidden Door when everybody keeps stubbing their foot on the way in.
They're going on the doorway. That's true. I'm like, you know, it's called Forbidden Door, not Unopened Door. Fucking use the damn doorknob.
All these wrestlers, they just need to chill out, relax, do absolutely nothing, and then show at the super last minute at the pay-per-view, just to make sure that they don't get injured.
I would love to just do a rally of all the New Japan, of all the AEW talent. It's like, hey, so there's a lot of you here, and a lot of you are high flyers. Now, a lot of you may think, you know what? I'm going to do this awesome spot outside the ring. Here's a thought. Maybe don't. Okay, thank you for your time.
Like, literally, they should take everybody on the AEW roster and just literally wrap them up in bubble wrap and sit them in a corner until Sunday.
Exactly. It's like, stop doing outside spots. Just stop doing outside spots. Stop doing friggin' apron spots. Like, fuck. Like,
you know, screw it. Just go full WWE, one trick pony a move, and just call it a day, and then we'll just get back to it on Sunday.
I'm fine with them doing, like, high-flying shit, but does every high flyer have to do an outside spot, and it's the same outside spot every time?
I'll just jump off a higher ladder.
Well, I mean, even the regular spots aren't even safe anymore. I mean, CM Punk with the buckshot lariat, for instance.
Yeah, literally. But I'm also, it's also like, dude, you're almost 50. You shouldn't be doing that shit anyway.
I'm actually wondering if the AEW, due to all these injuries that these wrestlers are having, if they need to, I don't know, change it up a little bit, like policy-wise, like, I don't know, like limit wrestlers to do certain things in certain matches, or I don't know.
Maybe it's because Khan gives them health insurance that they're like, fuck it.
What? We got health insurance? Screw it. I'm going to do this bump off a helicopter. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because you get a health insurance doesn't mean you have to visit every damn hospital.
Right?
Even if it's the most fanciest, high-tech, high-quality hospital with the most awesome, care, like, still.
God, I said that now, and I probably changed it. Like, I'm waiting for them to do some sort of outside arena show, and I swear, if I see Darby Allin do a coffin drop out of a helicopter, I quit. I'm done with the podcast. I'm just going to walk away from wrestling altogether.
Now, to my pick, I think with this match, here's my theory. Okay, so follow me on this. Chris Jericho, his entire career, he's been he doesn't listen to anybody, he doesn't follow anybody, people follow him. Minoru Suzuki is exactly the same way. He doesn't listen to what people tell him to do. He has other people tell him, they follow him. That's why he has his own group called Suzuki-gun. I think Jericho, with his big fucking ego, is going to try to tell Suzuki what to do one too many times, and Suzuki's just going to pile drive his ass and then cost them the match. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. And if that happens, Oh my god, I would be so happy. I would be so fucking happy. And then, hell, you could even use that as a backdrop to have the Jericho Appreciation Society versus Suzuki-gun. And I would be so fucking happy with that.
You know what? Oddly enough, I have to agree with you on that one, Jax. Because, dude, they are two very self-centered, very follow their own path style characters. And if they butt heads, then yeah, the loss is going to be, I'd say, on Minoru Suzuki, because he's going to get tired of Chris Jericho's shit. So, yeah, I have to agree with you on that one.
Oh, yeah, so, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so when I think about this match, there's a lot going on with Jericho and Suzuki, so I do think that's going to happen, like what you guys said about the match. I honestly want Eddie Kingston's team to win. Also, because I actually think, a little bit of bias here, but I actually think Yoler is actually a pretty good wrestler, and I would actually like to see him wrestle more and more. So it would be totally awesome for him, to win this match.
Agreed.
So where are you going?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think Jericho's not going to, quote-unquote, mind too much of being used to the match, because he's in that whole, like, I'm just here wanting to train the new guys kind of thing. He doesn't, Jericho's Jericho. He already did what he did.
I think what might happen, and I think this is what will most likely happen. I think it will be, I think it will be Suzuki pile driving Jericho, and as that's happening, Shooter Yuta. Or Shooter Umino. I know it's Shota, but he goes by Shooter. Shooter Umino will attack Sammy Guevara. He'll like beat the shit out of him. He'll dive into him and beat the shit out of him outside the ring. And then what's his name? Then Kingston will pick him up, do the back fist, and then Yuta will hit him with the backpack pin, and then win that way. Because that's what I think will happen. I mean, it would be awesome to see that. Just that sequence would be cool. And then just see Suzuki laughing his ass off on the freaking ramp.
So all four of us went for Eddie Kingston and Yuta and Shota?
Looks like it.
Yep, sounds like they won due to opponent team implosion, so...
Alright guys, so the next match, and we're going to probably hear some ranting here. It's the singles match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship. Will Ospreay versus, of all the people the AEW selected to challenge him, Orange Cassidy. And, I mean, it has to go to Will Ospreay. I don't know, man. I mean, I know AEW loves Orange Cassidy and stuff, but I don't know, man. This is not the way to go. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you could do the fake outs here and there where it looks like Cassidy, like, oh my god, he's going to win this thing. But in the end, I really hope Ospreay wins it, because I don't know. And I agree, like, it's just a weird decision. I know that Orange Cassidy can go when he actually decides to and stuff like that, but what were they thinking, man? This was kind of odd, man. Like I know it's not as bad, but I'm saying it's almost like WWF, back in the WWF guys, and you got, like, let's say Hogan's been out for months or whatever, and Hogan makes his big return, and it's like, oh my god, who's gonna face him? Oh my, it's legendary Hogan versus, and you got Doink the Clown there or something, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So for this one, I really hope Will Ospreay wins this one, because, jeez, it's an odd choice. But the crowd popped like all fucking hell, though, and it was kind of interesting, because I was even mentioning that it's kind of weird how Cassidy's been kind of downplayed lately, because it looks like Danhausen was the new, comedic character. But no, Cassidy made his return, did a face-off. The crowd actually popped like fucking hell. I saw social media saying stuff like, hey, AEW's giving us what the fans want and all that. So some people were happy, but I know not everyone is.
Whew. Alright, for this one, I've definitely got Will Ospreay, but there is one thing I have been hearing, and this would be the perfect time for him to do it. I've been hearing Cassidy actually wants to kind of break the gimmick. Like, literally break the I'm slow as a tortoise unless I have to be type deal. So when you've got somebody like Will Ospreay who can literally go balls to the walls with Ricochet, as we've seen before, that would be the perfect guy to do it against. I mean, if Ospreay actually is still doing the high flying and high speed maneuvers like he always does, then Cassidy's going to have no choice but to break out of the gimmick and actually do some high flying, full speed wrestling. So as much as I would want to say, yeah, let's give it to Cassidy if he breaks the gimmick, I think this would be the first time that we see Cassidy out of the gimmick and Ospreay still wins. I think he's going to get some respect from him, but Will Ospreay wins.
There was just a good question. Has Cassidy ever broken the gimmick elsewhere? Because I've seen him in other indie matches here and there, but he's doing the gimmick and what he's known for nowadays. Has he ever done that anywhere else or?
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Yeah, for this match, it's really hard to take Orange Cassidy seriously. As much as he's a fan favorite of the AEW, I mean, this could be the match where, Orange Cassidy, really have to get serious and really give this all. But I don't know. I think I'm going to have to give this title to Osprey.
Okay, so here's my opinion about the whole situation. First of all, Will Ospreay has been through a lot in his career. He was a junior champion. He went through the junior division. This past, with the pandemic, he's built up, he's bulked up, he's become a heavyweight. So he went out of the junior division into the heavyweight division. And a lot of people, when he went to the heavyweight division, everyone's like, oh, he's going to be, slower. He's like, no, he's still just as fast. He's got a lot of the high-flying moves, but he's got more strong style. He added the Hidden Blade, which is his that and the Stormbreaker, two extremely devastating moves into his repertoire. He won the J Cup. He became the World Heavyweight Champion, the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the second in history. And in order to do it, he beat Kota Ibushi. So that already is a fucking amazing accomplishment. He had to temporarily vacate the title because he had a 6-month injury due to it wasn't even an injury. It was basically just a precautionary measure because of the years of damage he's done to his neck, that they wanted to test it to make sure he was okay. But in that interim, long story, the Dragon became the champion, and then Okada became the champion. And this past year, so not even that far, it's currently June, in January of this year, the main event of night 2 was Will Ospreay versus Okada for the title. And for him to finally get to the plateau of the main event of Wrestle Kingdom, which is their big show, and I would argue it's better than WrestleMania. Not as well known as WrestleMania, but it's better than WrestleMania. To go from that to selling out the Tokyo Dome, to fighting Orange Cassidy, to me, it's an insult as a fan of New Japan. Because the arguments that I see for why this match is happening are all essentially, Cassidy's really popular. And I'm like, yeah, but you know who else was really popular? Santino Marella. But did you want to see Santino Marella versus John Cena in a title match? No, because that would have been stupid. It's the same principle. And in fact, Osprey himself even sees this as an insult. He's repeatedly called it an insult to his career. Because he said, how can I be taken seriously to go from the top of the card to fighting Cassidy, of all people? He said, what was it, just recently, there was a tweet, and I saved it. There was a tweet that Cassidy put on Twitter that said, I can do stuff sometimes, #AEW Dynamite. Will Ospreay responds with, I wear a jacket that is worth $10K. I actually work countless of 5-star matches and care about the audience and who they should idolize. You're the laziest guy I've ever met, and yet children cosplay as you. Unacceptable. The amount of dream matches I could have had, and instead I got you. Be grateful. And he's right. He is 100,000% right. Osprey is arguably one of, if not the top 5 best wrestlers in the world. And you put him against Cassidy. Cassidy isn't even mid-card. He's like low mid-card, if that. What pisses me off is, like, it's not that Cassidy can't wrestle. He can, obviously. But it's the fact that he's low mid-card at best. He's never won a major title. He's never been a major champion. And I don't really see him being a major champion anytime in the near future. Not because of his size, not because he can't wrestle, but because his gimmick can only get you so far. I mean, his gimmick, his character, his style, I just can't see him being a top guy. Hell, I could see Darby Allin being a top champion before him. And Darby Allin weighs like, what, a bag of quarters?
Soaking wet.
It's honestly, to be 100% honest with you, when I knew I had a feeling Will Ospreay was going to be at Forbidden Door. I honestly thought originally it was going to be Ospreay versus either Pac, which would have been amazing, or Ospreay versus even Darby Allin. I think he could have had an amazing match with Darby Allin. Instead, we get Cassidy. And it's for the IWGP US belt. And I'm going to flat out say, if Ospreay loses to Cassidy, I'm going to have so much, lose so much respect for AEW's booking. Because how could you have a guy that good lose to a guy that bland? Is beyond me. But obviously I'm going to go with Ospreay for the win. So that's me.